Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to unpack the totally unbelievable story of how a teenager from North Carolina turned an absolute, all-consuming obsession into a literal billion-dollar creator empire. I mean, imagine spending thousands of hours studying a platform, while everyone around you, your friends, your family, just thinks you're completely wasting your life. Well, that's exactly what Jimmy Donaldson did. Today, we know him globally as MrBeast, the biggest YouTuber on Earth. But how did he actually pull that off? We're going to break down the specific strategies, the relentless data analysis, and the massive mindset shift that built this empire. So let's dive right in. 0. Now, while today he commands billions of views across the globe, it's absolutely crucial to remember that he started right here with 0 views. He didn't have rich parents to fund his projects, right? No Hollywood connections waiting in the wings to give him a big break. And there was definitely no overnight viral success. He was literally just a kid sitting in his bedroom, genuinely believing he could become the biggest creator in the world, starting from absolute 0. Which brings us to Chapter 1, The Impossible Dream.
Born in 1998, Jimmy was just 13 years old back in 2011 when he started uploading under the name MrBeast 6000. And honestly, his early content wasn't exactly groundbreaking. You know, he was playing Minecraft, Call of Duty, just posting these random gaming videos. And the result? Well, sometimes he'd get a few views, and sometimes practically nobody watched at all. But here's the kicker. Instead of just throwing in the towel when those videos tanked like most people would, Jimmy embraced this one life-changing question. Why do some videos get millions of views while others completely fail? That exact question became the absolute foundation of his entire future, pushing him to search for the answer.
And that perfectly sets up Chapter 2, Cracking the Code.
Look at the sheer amount of data this guy was crunching. While most teenagers were just, hanging out, Jimmy was spending every waking hour agonizing over the algorithm. He wasn't just casually watching successful creators, he was analyzing their videos frame by frame. He scrutinized thumbnails, he tweaked titles, and he went incredibly deep on retention and click-through rates. Later on, his friends actually revealed that Jimmy and a group of other small creators would discuss these exact metrics for 10, sometimes even 15 hours straight. College didn't interest him. His grades totally tanked because his entire focus was zeroed in on this data. He just knew that if he could crack the algorithm, success was a guarantee.
But of course, that success didn't happen overnight. For years, Jimmy uploaded video after video and, let's be real, most of them completely failed. He tried comedy, reaction videos, weird little experiments, and nothing was really sticking. But the reason he's the king of YouTube today is summed up perfectly right here. Every failure became data. He absolutely refused to quit. He looked at every single bad video as a necessary lesson, learning exactly what not to do, one upload at a time. So how did it finally happen? Let's look at Chapter 3, The Viral Breakthrough. After all that relentless data gathering and years of painful trial and error, he had this one absurd, totally strange idea that completely flipped his life upside down. He sat down in front of a camera and literally spent nearly 2 days straight counting to 100,000. I know, it sounds totally crazy, right? But the internet just couldn't believe someone would actually sit there and do it. And the video just exploded. Millions of people tuned in. After years of obscurity, MrBeast finally found the missing piece of the puzzle. And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates a universal principle behind his massive success. By pushing himself to a seemingly impossible extreme, like counting for almost 48 hours, he basically forced people to pay attention. Extreme commitment creates curiosity. People literally couldn't help but click just to see if he actually pulled the whole thing off. He had finally reverse-engineered human curiosity.
Which leads us to Chapter 4, The Reinvestment Engine.
So having finally cracked the code and tasting his first real success, Jimmy didn't just kick his feet up and relax. Think about it for a second. What would you do with a massive YouTube paycheck? Most creators, when they hit it big, they go out and buy expensive cars, designer clothes, giant houses. But Jimmy did the exact opposite. He totally separated himself from the pack by reinvesting almost every single dollar right back into his product. He chose to make even bigger videos, hand out money to strangers, build these giant challenges, and eventually buy entire stores. He was making content that literally no one else was willing to make.
And this philosophy built an unstoppable, compounding growth loop. His strategy was incredibly simple, but just ruthlessly effective. Step 1, he earns $10,000. Step 2, he spends that entire $10,000 making an even crazier, more impossible to ignore video, which naturally led to Step 3, earning millions. Then he'd take those millions and just do the whole thing over again. Bigger video. Impossible to ignore. It was literally a flawless engine of growth.
But it wasn't just about throwing money around. It was also about how he structured the content itself. Jimmy realized that to keep millions of people hooked, he needed faster storytelling with absolutely zero wasted time. He ruthlessly cut out those boring, drawn-out intros. He made sure that every few seconds, something visually exciting was happening on screen. Every single second had to earn its keep. And by doing this, he didn't just make his own videos better, he quite literally changed the fundamental pacing of YouTube itself. Before long, all the top creators were copying his exact editing style.
Bringing us to Chapter 5, The Real Secret. When you look at this journey, it is absolutely staggering to see how a 13-year-old kid experimenting in a tiny bedroom systematically engineered his way to the top. From 0 views in 2011, through those grueling years of failure and obsessing over data, all the way to the massive viral breakthrough of counting to 100,000. And just look at today. He leveraged those billions of views to rapidly expand way beyond just videos. We're talking global businesses in chocolate, food, tech, and production. It is hands down one of the biggest creator businesses in history.
So when people look at this massive empire, they always ask, what's the actual secret here? Is it luck? Having endless piles of money? Some magical favor from the algorithm? Well, the truth is, the real secret is obsession. His success absolutely did not happen overnight. It was built one upload at a time, one painful lesson at a time, and one unseen improvement at a time. He worked tirelessly and failed way more times than most people ever even try, all during a time when absolutely nobody cared.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to look at the incredible scale of MrBeast's empire today, the billions of views, the massive global businesses, and just remember that the whole shebang started with a teenager in an empty bedroom with zero audience. It begs a pretty profound question for your own life and your own goals. If the biggest success stories start with an empty room, how obsessed are you willing to be when nobody is watching? Are you willing to put in the hours of extreme commitment required to turn your zero into billions? Keep that in mind the next time you face a failure.